loves me. Only true friend. She love the sound of my voice. Put your mics in the air. If you real. She loves me. If you really spit that real. I'm about to check it out. Assassin, look. When I want competition, I just look in the mirror. With every word that I'm spitting, then the vision is clearer. Nobody touching what I'm clutching, plus I'm busting it first. Yes, your chest will be a mess by the end of the verse. Your body stretched out like a book on the pavement. People pass by as they look in amazement. Your body leaking your genetics, got you looking so pathetic. No need to call the paramedics, it's too late for anesthetics. Me and my microphone. 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 Coming out the dirty south, show everybody I'm the cleanest. Run your mouth, I send your body to the cleaners. Love my mic, so can't nobody come between us. Won't be nice for anybody wanna see me. Back up a little, just a couple of feet. You don't listen, you'll be missing just a couple of teeth. Hard to buy the rhyme, with no teeth in your mouth. Stepping out of line, then we sweeping them out. Me and my microphone. 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 My mic got jealous when I was talking to my girlfriend. So you know, it's like I'm caught up in a world when I'm not about the drama. I don't need that. Started yelling and all I heard was feedback. Said I need to choose, but do it quickly. Use a tool, you fool if you don't pick me. Since she made me choose, you know I left her to pick my microphone up off the dresser. Me and my microphone. 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 Me and my mic been tight since 9-5. She don't wanna go out, she stay at home and vibe. Ain't nothing without her, I doubt she'll understand. Gets upset so I can't make no plans. Wants me to herself, she is so obsessed. When I go to sleep, I can't not get no rest. Calling off my phone when I'm gone too long. Says to her, be home, she wants to make a song. Me and my microphone. 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 This microphone. Can't wait to get you in my arms and my palms. And when we home alone, it is gonna be on. You make the words to my song sound strong. When I'm with you, baby, I can do no wrong. Can't wait to get you in my arms and my palms. And when we home alone, it is gonna be on. You make the words to my song sound strong. When I'm with you, baby, I can do no wrong. You know I had to do it. I had to take it back. Dedicate this to everybody out there that's doing music. Whether you're getting paid for it or not, it don't even matter. As long as you love it, I know it's gonna love you back. Put your microphones up. Put them up. Much love to all the rappers that paved the way for people like you. All the producers. Rest in peace to everybody that's dead and gone. That's fast. Keep rapping till I'm dead to get paid for it. Matter of fact, bury me with my microphone. Real. That's fast, huh? Yeah, I love you too.
What's up, Straight Talk Society? This is your host, Trevor, and I'm back with another episode of Straight Talk with Trevor, the sports edition. Again, forgive me, I do sound a little messed up, getting over a cold. Let me know real quick if you guys can hear me. Yeah, to those of you in the chat, just put a 1 in the chat or something. Just let me know if you can hear me before I bring my guest up. Yeah, Venkat, we are doing the taking the old school. I specifically chose that 6:05 time. Um, so tonight's is the start of a new series in over here at the Straight Talk Society. We're going to do a basketball show, as you can see by the title, loud and clear. Thank you. Yeah. So before I bring my guest on, I want to thank you guys for last night. If you missed last night's show, go back and watch it. Last night, the women of Pour Your Heart Out basically took over the Straight Talk sessions, and it was a 2-hour back and forth between the women of Pour Your Heart Out, Michael, Cliff, E. I mean, it was awesome, man. That conversation is what this channel is all about, like stirring up the controversial topics. And at the end of the stream, everybody was like, okay, peace out. See you the next time. It's all love. You know, it's nobody called anybody out of their name, nothing like that. So that's what it is over here. And that's how we rock over here. So tonight's show is going to be a very special show that we've been trying to do for the longest, but in between everything that we've been doing, it just never seemed to work out. But today was a day, so we're going to get it done. And I'll be coming back tomorrow with a UFC review show. So it seems like I'm streaming a lot, but hey, as long as the topics keep coming up, I got to do what I got to do. So peace to everybody that's in the chat, first of all. So yeah, let me bring my guest up real quick. Producer extraordinaire. Y'all see all these dope overlays and gifts and backgrounds. I can't take any responsibility for that. I wake up and I see like 50 messages on my phone and it's like, here, try this, do this, put this. I'm like, okay. So on the line, I got on the panel, we got Venkat. He's the man that keeps this thing going as far as all the graphics and songs and all that stuff. So what's going on?
What's going on, TJ Hammer?
You had to go back and pull the old wrestling name out.
It's 6:05.
Yeah, 6:05 Eastern, baby, live on TBS, a superstation. So we finally get to do this show. And I know we got Ja Morant on the thumbnail. And I guess we could get him out of the way right now, because I'm not really interested in Ja Morant. I want to pick your brain on basketball now in comparison to back when I feel it was good. So let's get the Ja Morant. Oh, go ahead.
But that does connect, though. That does connect. I mean, that's an example of today. The whole Ja Morant, the mentality and the mindset of players today. So you can compare and contrast yesteryear's players and this year's players, and certain things you just wouldn't see years ago that you're seeing today, and vice versa. So it all goes together.
So let's as I think I stated it yesterday that me and Venkat are going to be doing a wrestling show entitled Wrestling with Reality. I mean, he's been trying to stick that name on me for the longest, so we are going to do that. Like you guys know that we do the Wrestling Wednesday show, which that's a show we do now, but we're going to do another wrestling show in addition to that, where we go through the science and the psychology of the actual matches. Because like I said before, I feel like with the minds that me and Venkat have for the sport of professional wrestling and the love and respect, we don't need any videos or anything or any clips. All we got to say is, hey, watch the match. Let's break it down. So that's coming up. That's coming up in, we haven't really figured out a date yet, but it's coming like mid-April. And the first match we're going to break down is Brock Lesnar versus John Cena from Extreme Rules 2012, one of the most violent matches in WWE history, also one of the best matches in WWE history. So look forward to that. That'll be coming up real soon. So, so that Costan 1000, that's Arthur. Okay. What's going on, Arthur? Welcome to the Straight Talk Society. If you want to come on, man, hit the link. You can come on if you want. Anybody's welcome to come on the panel if you want, because we're going to be talking about basketball, like I say, when it was good. So let's get into this Ja Morant thing. So just what I read up on it real quick. He's been suspended for 8 games, which that suspension might be up already.
Yeah, I think his suspension. The first game he's eligible to play is on March 20th, I believe. So
So Tuesday.
yeah, that should be the first game he can play.
And he was suspended for being on IG Live with a gun in a Denver nightclub.
In a strip club, yeah.
In the
Which strippers in the background?
Yeah, let's talk. I mean, this. I always like to talk about the mindset of today's generation because I had to remember that these kids nowadays aren't like how we were growing up. So you have your Michael Jordan in this same position as Ja Morant. Michael Jordan was only about winning. That's all he cared about. He wasn't, I'm not saying that he didn't go to clubs and things like that, but he never was the type that was going to draw attention to himself in this ridiculous way. But I do kind of think that maybe social media plays a factor in there because if we would have had social media back then, who knows what would have happened.
Right. Well, the NBA in the 70s and I would say mid 80s or so was notorious for excessive drug use and whatnot, and all kinds of guys doing crack, cocaine, just everything going on in those locker rooms and on the scene. They would go out partying and stuff like that. So they had that element of toxicity going on back then as well. And now when Michael Jordan came in, Michael Jordan was the turning point to kind of cleaning that up because he was such a draw. He was such a presence and commanded such press that the league started generating more money with the Michael Jordan era. I'm not a Michael Jordan fan, but I just got to recognize what happened,
So let me ask you this question because it all comes down to locker room leadership. Do you think today's players don't have that real presence like Michael again? And we're going to say Michael Jordan a lot. I do not like Michael Jordan. I despise Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan crushed the dreams of all my heroes. So I'm not no Michael Jordan fan at all, but you got to get a man his credit.
I don't like Michael Jordan for other reasons too, not just stuff like that, but politically. He wouldn't get involved in certain political moments that he could have been useful in. And I just thought that was kind of selfish. He really didn't give a damn about nothing because it didn't affect his bottom line. So
I want you to remember that you said that when I bring something up later.
Okay.
So you got Michael Jordan. I remember hearing a story. Who was it that he punched in the face in practice? It wasn't Bill Whittington
Steve Kerr.
or Paxson? Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jordan was intent. Like these players nowadays, and I'm not telling you just go punch your teammate in the face, but what I'm saying is this guy was so focused on winning, and these players nowadays, they seem to be more focused on Instagram pictures and teaming up with their friends and trading jerseys at the end of the game. It's like,
right.
To me, the competitive nature of sports in general has just. It's not like how it used to be. And I know I sound like the old man, but it was better back in our day. It just was.
I agree. I have to echo what you're saying. I don't want to sound like, in my day, little Sonny. Yeah, I don't want to be that, but I'm just watching it objectively. I could objectively look at like the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and then now. And I could see the differences. I see the highs and I see the lows. Like, the highs of Larry Bird and Magic and those days when they really propped up the league, and then Michael Jordan taking it a step further in the 90s. I could see the downs of the 2000, let's say about 2000 to about 2006 or so, where there was some very bad basketball, very bad, non-interesting matchups in the NBA Finals, like the Detroit Pistons and the Spurs, and just those games were just, oh lordy. But I'm not dragging on the Spurs or the Pistons. I like those teams, but I'm just calling out like what the reality of those matchups were. It wasn't exciting.
But that championship, that was the year that Like that Pistons team was one of the more fundamental teams that you would ever see, and the Spurs. I mean, hell, they had a guy on the team named the Big Fundamental. Like,
Right.
So,
Right,
but isn't that what we were asking for? A fundamental basketball game?
Well, I mean, you can have multiple aspects and make it an overall better product. Just being dug into one. I mean, those games where you have 87, 84, they could be good or they could be bad, because some people say, oh, it's defense. But in reality, it could just be poor offense. They're just bricking. They're just bricking a lot. So, I mean, it's not necessarily that they're getting a shot blocked or they're getting a shot altered. It could just be that they're having a poor shooting night. So sometimes we hide behind that, trying to say that it's a great defense when it's just poor offense.
But that was a norm back in the 80s, 80s and 90s when we were
right.
Like
more so now, but the NBA passed, like they did some rule changes here and there over the years to kind of sexy up the game, as you may say, where it's a more fast-paced, higher scoring game. This is what the NBA designed. They wanted, because I mean, this season there was a game that I think went up to, I want to say like 130, 140 something. I mean, that's some high ass scoring,
Yeah, I saw a game like 149 to 151. It was ridiculous. Yeah. So think about that. Think about that. That's 300 points in one game. When we watched games back in our day where they struggled to get to like 90 points.
Right.
So here's my biggest downside okay, so let me ask you this first. How much of the current product do you watch?
I watch it. I watch it. I mean, I don't get to watch it all the time because the same issue with wrestling. I have but so much time, especially with my job. But I at least will follow up, catch highlights, or just look up information online. So I'm watching it, and I understand what's going on. But sometimes it could be a struggle. Like sometimes I'll start off watching a game, and I remember in the 90s, I would watch it from pre-game show till end the game show. And now it's like, okay, I'm going to move away for a little bit because it just doesn't catch me like it did back then. I don't know. It's a different time, different area, I guess. But I do keep up with the current product for sure.
So I only watch the playoffs. And, so what? Call me what you want. What they call them? Forget what kind of fan I'm drawing a blank right now, but
bandwagon.
Bandwagon fan. I mean, I'm a Miami Heat fan, but I can't watch an NBA season. I just can't. It's too hard to watch. It's just like I don't watch Major League Baseball or anything like that, but I'll watch the World Series. Is 82 games that don't mean anything because you have teams that can get into the playoffs with like a 40 and 42 record, like the most mediocre record in the world can get you into the playoffs. And it's not like the NFL where every single week matters. So when it comes to the NBA, I cannot watch the everyday day-to-day product. I watch the highlights. So keep up with who the stars are and this and that, but I cannot watch the product. I just can't.
That's a great point.
But if I am going to watch it, I'll just watch it like the last 2 minutes in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's a great point that you say there, and that is a problem that they're trying to deal with. They've been talking for a few years now about introducing a tournament in the middle of the season, just different things to spice it up. And then to your point, what you were saying with those mediocre records getting into the playoffs, I have been always saying, watching basketball for all these years, I hate the fact that a team that's mediocre gets in, because there's always been a great divide in the NBA's conferences, the Eastern Conference versus the Western Conference. The Western Conference traditionally has always had the better teams. And in the West, you'll have a team never make the playoffs and they'll have a winning record. And then in the East, a team that's losing will get in just because of their location on the map. And I've always thought that was a problem. And I was hoping in 2020 when they were doing the
bubble.
The bubble, right? That here was because they were complaining that, well, the reason we can't play the best versus the best is because of the flights and the traveling and all this. Well, here you had everybody in the same bubble, and here was a perfect opportunity to introduce the best versus the best, 1 through 16, instead of having these weaker teams sneak into the playoffs. But they didn't do it. But I think if they did it versus forget the conference or what the coast that you're at and just be placed in there with your record. Now the regular season mean things because there's another issue with the NBA. Players sitting out of games. That is a huge issue, right? So I'm a fan, and if I go and I buy a ticket, oh man, I want to see Kyrie or I want to see Steph Curry. And they decide they're going to sit out the game, not because they got an injury, just because they're trying to build themselves up and get ready for the playoffs.
The maintenance thing they call it.
Right. What do you call it? Yeah, maintenance. I forgot they call it. The actual
maintenance schedule crap that they call it. I forget the real name, but
yeah, load management. That's
load management. Yeah.
Which is some bull crap. I mean. You look at the past Michael Jordan played the 82-game season 9 times in his career. 9 times. LeBron James has played it once. One time.
Hold on, because we'll let you get your LeBron hate off. But what's up, twin? Piece of Twin, piece of Keelitz, piece of Nene, piece of Arthur, piece of everybody that's watching in the clouds. Yeah, Twin, you're absolutely right. Please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. So
shout out to Twin Pyramid.
The load management thing is ridiculous. What year was that? Kawhi Leonard. I feel like he had more time off than he actually played.
Precisely. That's exactly what's been going on.
And I agree with what you're saying. I mean, these tickets are only going up. To go to a Miami Heat game to get a decent ticket is going to run you a little under $200. Not to mention all the concessions and the parking and all that bullcrap of dealing with Miami Beach. And then you hear Jimmy Butler's not playing. Not because he's injured. Not because he's injured. He's going to take every other day off. So why the hell did it have to be my day that he took off? And I think this new era of athlete, they're making more money. They're bigger, stronger, faster, but they're being pandered to. They're being so babied, man. Is ridiculous. Nobody.
Case in point of what you're saying. The current NBA player today enjoys state-of-the-art gyms, the weight rooms. They have personal trainers. They have muscle relaxing massages on a daily basis. They have catering. They have private flights. Now rewind back to the 60s, rewind back to the 70s, even the 80s. Players were working their day job, whether it be at a hardware store or something, and then at night they would come to the game and play. And the funny thing about that is that today's players are chasing yesteryear's players' records. Nobody has yet to hit 100 points. Will Chamberlain did that. You see Russell Westbrook literally padding his stats to get the triple doubles that he got, and that also gave him the league MVP the first time he did it. But averaging a triple double, that's something I never thought anybody would ever do. But now I'm seeing video on YouTube. They're actually illustrating and showing teammates of Russell Westbrook moving away from the ball, not picking it up so that he could pick it up to get a rebound, or going out of their way to make sure they get the assist for him. It's outrageous stuff, man, that I've never thought would happen before.
My biggest complaint about the current NBA, we grew up playing basketball and we used to be in the paint, like banging with one another. And, I was a smaller one at the time, so you guys would easily body me, but I'd always come back and try to get back physical with you. The lack of physicality in the NBA now. And if I see another 7-foot tall center pulling up from 3-point range, that's what I'm saying. You don't have nobody plays in the paint anymore. There's no dominant centers. like Shaq was the last of a dying breed. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you could feed Shaq that ball in the middle. He's going to get you 20, 30 points. Easy. Because he
Right.
played inside the paint. Now you got these 7-footers. They don't even think about driving the ball in the paint. Pull up for 3-point. Like, what? That's why the scores are 120s and 130s. I mean, like, to me, and again, I'm coming off like, oh man, this was supposed to be Venkat's rant, and I'm gonna get him to rant soon. But it's like the game, the physicality, man. I watched some of those old Lakers. Who was it? Lakers Celtics.
Yeah.
When them jokers used to come in the paint and they literally get clotheslined. Come on, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In the 80s, Detroit Pistons bad boys.
Yeah.
They clotheslining people in the lane.
I don't think these players now could deal with that.
Well, so I understand the NBA kind of like checking that, because that's going to wear down a person's career. I mean, Scottie Pippen in the series against the Pistons in the 80s, they beat on him so bad he had a migraine headache, and it took him out of the game. He wasn't able to play the next game, and the Bulls lost ceremoniously, as they always did year by year, to the Pistons. It's a great strategy by the Pistons, but it's kind of dirty. And so the league had to crack down on it. But the repercussion of this is that the game has changed so much. We've now in the era of analytics and these weird statistics that they drum up together, and the way it's formulated is so odd to me. Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal, they will not even entertain the idea of those kind of stuff. Because those stats were never around. I hate when you hear like these. It's almost like they go out of their way to like make up a milestone. Oh, he scored the most points in for a guy that lost his shoe in a game, and like these weird statistics they come up with. I'm like, come on, man. So so it's the game is just weird today, and at times could be unrelatable because they're doing too much. I think when you just break it down to the essence of what it is, and the disregard for the veteran guys, for the guys that are the legends of the sport, like a Will Chamberlain. Like, I never thought I'd see the day anybody's dogging Michael Jordan, but that actually happens with these LeBron fans or stands. That's just outrageous.
We'll get there.
And again, this is coming from a guy that doesn't like, I'm a Portland Trailblazer, Clyde Drexler through and through. So that's a team that I like. But I'm a fan of the NBA itself. So I'm just not going to limit myself. So, but it's just odd to see. And Michael Jordan actually bears the brunt of it as well, because he was so stupid in how he addressed his opponents in the day. He would disregard everybody as insignificant towards him. But in essence, you made yourself look insignificant, because everybody's saying, well, he didn't play against anybody great. He didn't play against anybody that was, legendary. So now you degraded all your opponents in the day, and now all this time has passed, and everybody's going with the narrative that you painted,
That's not true, though.
For me, I understand it not to be true, because in the 90s, there were some great stars. Tim Hardaway, Clyde Drexler, Dominique Wilkins, Hakeem Olajuwon, Karl Malone. There were some great superstars in the day. And then centers, don't even get started. Dave Robinson, Shaq. I mean, come on. And Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning. There was like great centers, and now we don't have great centers. So when they do the All-Star game, sometimes they don't even put a center in because they don't have a center to put in. So they just put a person in the spot. They don't even call it a center. But
look at our center. Look at our center, Bam Adebayo. He's not a center to me. He's more like a power forward. Like he plays the game of a power forward. Like I don't know what team in the NBA right now has a real center. Somebody please tell me, because I don't know. I don't know.
Right.
I'm talking about a shot blocking, dunk it on your head type center. I don't know.
Yeah. And the other thing too, with the analytics era, they're to the point now where they just decided, okay, well, if we just shoot more threes, we're getting one more point per possession. And I mean, that's math. We understand that because back in the 90s and especially in the 80s, first of all, the 3-point line didn't exist throughout history. That's why LeBron James just passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar all-time scorer, but Kareem only hit one 3-pointer his whole 20 plus year career. So all that is just regular twos. LeBron James has hit. I mean, I think LeBron James is like in the top 10 or top 15 all time in 3-pointers. So, I mean, that's a difference in how they get their points, and that's another example of today chasing the old, and they had less to deal. They had less to work with back in those days. But the 3-point line is fairly new in the sport, and that's a source of extra points. And these guys that are analytics, they're telling the players shoot it up, jack it up. And to a lot of people's credit, like Curry or Damian Lillard, they practice religiously and intently on making those shots, so much that they can make it from half court, and it's not a problem. But because everybody feels like they've seen Curry do it, everybody else does it, and not everybody can hit it like that. And so we have these odd moments in basketball right now. So the game breaks down in a ugly way because a center now has to be able to shoot a three. Like you can't even get on a team. Like there's guys looking for jobs that can't get on a team because you're going to be a liability on the defensive end and on the offensive end because you can't guard a three. You can't because a big guy is slower. So these little guys are just going to run around and it's nothing. And then when on the offensive end, they're going to need a center to hit the three to open up the lane because the lane were clogged in the 90s. Now they want to open that up. So they need a 3-pointing center. They need a 3-pointing power forward. And the direction of where the game is going, that's why we're seeing what we're seeing. There's aspects of it that are good, but then there's aspects that are bad. And I don't know. It's just an odd place that we're at right now. I don't know how to fix it fully.
So before I fully unleash you in the rant that I know you want to go on, let's hit a couple of quick topics. This especially that I know you aren't a fan of. I personally don't care, but now you have a platform to tell me why it bothers you so much. What is your beef against the super teams?
Oh, the super teams is ridiculous, man. So you're gonna take a situation where you're jumping on another team, making all the odds heavily in your favor. And then you're going to go around and brag when you do win the championship, or if you do win the championship, because some of these super teams have not won the championship. Ask the Brooklyn Nets. That was an embarrassment. But, they get together and they overpower all the other teams in the league, and somehow I'm supposed to respect that. Now, if you look back in the 90s, one of my favorite teams, the Houston Rockets from 95, with Clyde Drexler on it, they came in ranked number 6. No team ever in history has ever won the championship from the 6th seed. And they played against 450-plus win teams. 60-plus win teams. 4 teams that won 60 or more games. And they were able to go through the finals, grind it out, and get through round by round. And then they swept Shaquille O'Neal's Orlando Magic in the finals.
Venkat, tell me the roster. Tell me the roster of that team, because you're making it seem like that team wasn't full of all-stars. Tell me the roster of that team.
Which team? The Rockets?
The Rockets. Elijah Wan. Tell me the roster of that team.
They were just barely getting by, but it was Hakeem.
Tell me the roster.
Yeah, Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, Sam Cassell coming off the bench because he was like Robert Horry. But again, they didn't.
Big shot Bob.
But he wasn't Big Shot Bob yet. He was a rookie in the Houston Rockets. I think he came on the team in '93. So by that point, he's in his second or third year. In '95, it's a different landscape. These guys didn't emerge to anything. They gave up. They had to trade away Otis Thorpe, their power forward on the Houston Rockets, to get Clyde Drexler. And Clyde Drexler is the shooting guard, the 2. Otis Thorpe was the power forward. So they were like, well, when you get Clyde Drexler and you lose Otis Thorpe, you're going to lose rebounds. But the one thing that people did not account for was that Clyde Drexler is one of the greatest rebounding guards in the history of the NBA, up there with Michael Jordan.
But
And
Venkat, you hold
yeah,
on. You see what you're doing. You see what you just did though.
what
You're
did I do?
talking. You're against a team like Kyrie. Who was it? Kyrie. What's the other guy? God, I'm drawing a blank. This tall, swanky guy.
James Harden,
It was Kyrie, James Harden,
and Durant,
and Kevin Durant.
Right.
So you're totally against that team, but
Yes.
you could root on a team with Hall of Famer Hakeem Olajuwon, Hall of Famer Clyde the Glide Drexler, a tremendous player in Sam Cassell,
Yeah.
and a big shot Bob. They had Vernon Maxwell on that team also. Like you literally.
Yeah.
You literally looking at the same exact dynamic just
It is
because
not the
just
same.
because the money wasn't the same back then. And I think that's what your problem is. Why
No.
you're against the
Okay,
super
so
team.
hold on. Before you go to the deep end, it's not the same. That would be like putting lipstick on a dog and a dress and calling it a woman. It's not the same thing. It's far from it. You have Kevin Durant, you have James Harden, and then you have Kyrie. First of all, Kevin Durant and Kyrie said they plotted together, and they said, "Hey, we're gonna bypass re-signing with our teams, and then we're going to pick Brooklyn to go together." So they both signed. That was a planned thing. Then they talked to James Harden, and then he said, "I'm not playing anymore for the Houston Rockets. I want you to trade me, and I need you to trade me to the Brooklyn Nets. And if you don't trade me, I'm not playing. I'm going to always say I'm hurt or I'm injured." And it became really bad. And then he forced his way out of Houston to go on that team. Now you look at the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets, you go back to 93. They won a title in 94 and 95. You go back to that time period. They drafted Robert Horry. They drafted Sam Cassell. Olajuwon was on the team. And they were never a team that fully made it. Like, they didn't get deep runs. They weren't a great team. And then Clyde Drexler got injured and slumped through his season. Once he got to that point where he was like, "Hey, I've done all I can in Portland. I think I'd just like to be traded to a contender." The contenders he had a choice between the Spurs, which were a great team, a great option, or the Houston Rockets. And Clyde is from Texas, but he chose the Houston Rockets because he's from Houston, and he was friends and college teammates with Hakeem Olajuwon. So when he joined that team, it was not a foregone conclusion they were going to win anything. Again, they were the 6th seed. No team ever won the 6th seed. The Houston Rockets avoided elimination 4 times in those playoffs.
So
They
what
were
happened
played
when
in Game
Barkley
7.
joined? What happened when Barkley
That's
joined?
later. Clyde Drexler, I'm sorry, when Barkley joined, it was in 97. So that they were already out of their prime, and they were not anything close to where they could have been years prior. So it was a completely different situation.
All
So
right,
it wasn't even anyway. Kevin Durant is
fix
still
that one
there at
up.
his prime.
Way to fix that one up.
You're just delusional.
Way to fix that one up. So let me ask you a question. The Spurs team of David Robinson, David Robinson, Tim Duncan. You had Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker. That wasn't like a superstar.
But you're comparing guys. It's like wrestling, right? When remember you were telling me about McIntyre, right? He was in WWE, right? Mm-hmm. He was already there. They didn't value him. He leaves. He gets great outside of WWE. He comes back in, and now he makes a run, and now he's a superstar. But he wasn't that before. This is what you're doing. So like with Kevin Durant, with James Harden, all those 2 guys won the league MVP with other teams. They're established stars. They grew. As far as like the other teams, the Spurs, again, just like the Houston Rockets, they drafted those guys. Tim Duncan was drafted by the Spurs, and Tony Parker drafted by the Spurs. Those are all just draft picks that just happened to be very good, smart picks, and they worked out, and the team blended together. As opposed to, oh, you're my buddy, you're my friend. Let's go ahead and click up, and then we'll try to win. Then you miserably fail like the Brooklyn Nets did.
All right, I give
Totally
you that
two
one.
different, totally two different things.
So you absolutely hated the Miami Heat then?
Oh yeah, because it was just everything they did was just wrong.
What?
And
when?
the way they did it, LeBron
When?
goes up there and says, "Not one, not two, not three." Like really, he was so smug with it. Then he lost
But
in
they
2011. He lost in 2011, and that win in 2012 was very questionable. Oh my God, that was a questionable time right there. If you go back, look at OKC versus Miami Heat in the finals. I see your face, Trevor. I don't care what you say. I see. Go back to that time. Kevin Durant was
the Thundertakers. That's what they call themselves. They called themselves the Thundertakers. That OKC team.
That was a great team. That was a great team, man. And again, that was a team that's before Westbrook, Harden, and Durant got together. Before they got to that point where they were MVPs and all that.
Okay, yeah, they were all on the same team.
They were drafted on the team. It's not like they were already established stars and came to the team. They were drafted and started their careers there. And they built themselves into what they are today. That's a completely different thing than actual stars. Like, could you imagine Michael Jordan saying, "Hey, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, let's go together and play for New York and join Patrick Ewing"? That's what LeBron James did. And you can't say you're the best when you're going around doing little things like that. Like, the best should want to play the best.
All right, let's let him get his love fest off before we get
what do you mean by this?
Until we get into the main event. So everybody who knows, we know you're a Portland Trailblazer fan, and we know your love affair for Dame Lillard, which is a tremendous player. I heard a clip from him the other morning on my way to work, and I was trying to find it, man. I couldn't find the video for anything, but he was saying how he doesn't care about going to any super team, basically spewing what you're spewing. Like, he's like, that players nowadays, they're too busy chasing championships versus, trying to stay somewhere and win. So, and guess what? I agree, but it all comes down to this. Dame Lillard, as great as he is, and he is great. Didn't he just have like a 70-point game or something crazy? No, that was Giannis.
No, he did. He had 71 points.
Yeah, I know that was like last week or something. He just had some ridiculous amount of points. But don't you think he'd be served better, and you wouldn't put as much mileage on his body if he had some help?
Yeah. If he had some help, if guys came to Portland, or if we drafted somebody, that would be great.
Like a superstar, right? So if Kevin Durant said, "You know what, I want to play with Lillard," Venkat will be like, "Oh no, I don't want a superstar over here. Let Lillard do it by himself." No.
That's not what I'm saying. No, that's not the logic. There's a difference between that. Like, if a guy organically said, "You know what, I've done everything I could where I'm at. Let me go to this team because the guy is already there." That's cool, but that's not what that's not what KD did. What they did was they saw a guy over in a place like, say, Dwayne Wade in Miami, which also the attraction there is not just to play with Dwayne Wade. The attraction is you're in Miami, which is South Beach.
Right.
Right. All those things, that's why they're doing it. So it's a very attractive location. Whereas Portland, even though it's a beautiful place, it's a place that it doesn't attract free agency people. So it's a smaller market as well. But the thing is, they're going over to a place that has a player. So LeBron, go play with Wade. But let's take it a step further. Let's get another superstar player from another totally different team, and let's pile him onto that team as well. Those are strange things to do. Like at this point, you're just like moving all the cards in your favor. And the bad part about it is that guys in the past didn't do that, and they have their championships. You did all that, and you're still behind those guys. So what does that say about the greatest argument?
Well,
It
hold
just
on
looks
though.
bad. It just
Hold
looks
on, hold on, because you had a Bird that never did that, but Larry Bird has some tremendous ass Boston Celtic teams, and
But again, they were drafted. They were drafted. They didn't say, "Hey,
I get what
you're
you're
my
saying.
friend." They were drafted, so it's
No,
different.
I totally get what you're saying, but what I'm saying though, we got to get out of this mindset like one guy's going to do it because it's just not that league anymore. Like as much as everybody and I'm gonna crown him the greatest, as much as it hurts me, but Michael Jordan is the absolute pinnacle. But even when you look at his teams, he had Scottie Pippen, he had Horace Grant, he had B.J. Paxson that would hit those 3-pointers when you needed them. He even had
Dennis
big
Rodman.
sorry ass Dennis Rodman. He had big sorry ass Will Perdue and Bill Winnington clogging up the paint. He had Tony Kukoc. So let's not act like Michael Jordan didn't have tremendous help. He couldn't beat the Pistons. He couldn't beat the Pistons until he started getting help.
Right, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
So it's like, what do you value? Do you value, oh, shucks, let me be the great team player versus, you know what? I want to win a championship for the city of Portland. I'll take my 3 Miami Heat championships any day over none. And I'm going to tell you that right now.
Okay, so Trevor, what if as currently constructed, or maybe next season they make a deal or whatever, and then Lillard stays in Portland, and then boom, within the next 2 years he wins a championship like Giannis did. Milwaukee is also a small market. That's also not a great destination. People are not going out of their way to go to Milwaukee. People want to be in New York. They want to be in LA. They want to be in Miami. Those are the hot spots. That's even Chicago to a certain degree. But those are the hot spots, especially Miami for the weather, the lifestyle of LA. That's what people want to do. But what if Damian Lillard wins a championship? That championship alone, that singular championship, would be way more definitive and important than any of those put together championships like Kevin Durant. I love Kevin Durant is a great player. He's one of my favorite, always been. He's better than LeBron. I don't even think that there's a argument there. You can argue it all you want, but Kevin Durant is the guy. If I'm at the end of the game and I need a bucket, Kevin Durant is going to be the guy I'm going to take that shot, not LeBron James. LeBron James missed too many big moments to even be an option. But anyway,
this show was going so good, and he haven't even gotten to his rant yet. Oh,
okay. But anyway, Kevin Durant had on his team, OKC Thunder, they had the Golden State Warriors down 3-1. And then they did one of the biggest choke jobs in sports history. As the Warriors came back, boom, beat them, eliminated them. And the very next season, the people that beat me, I'm going to be on their team. And then that's one of the biggest blunders. So he won 2 championships with him, but nobody's looking at those 2 championships as, oh man, KD really, really gutted that out. I mean, no, it was like a foregone conclusion. The whole season, there was no suspense. They beat up everybody all year long.
Didn't they win like 70 plus that year?
Right. It's ridiculous. So those kind of champions, like what Giannis did in Milwaukee a couple years ago, that was tremendous. And he gets all the props. I mean, amazing win there. And that has more weight than those put together Frankenstein championships that they try to get these days. Those are cheap championships.
So real quick before I cut you, what's up, Juju? Juju, if you haven't had a chance, go back and listen to that show from last night. That was right down your alley. We rocked out last night for 2 hours. Those women were on fire last night. Venkat, you see the screen, right?
Yes.
You see my hands?
Yes.
No rings, right? That's Damian Lillard.
But you know what? Those same hands have millions of dollars in it.
Well, yeah.
That's Damian Lillard. He got over 200 million in his pocket right now. So I'm good with that. I think he's good with that.
So do you think for him, it's more about I'd rather be a big fish in a small pond than to go be a small fish in a giant ass ocean. You think that's it? Because if he goes to another team, he's not going to get a supermax contract. He's going to be second fiddle to whoever their current superstar is. You think that's it?
Well, look at other players. Look at Paul George. You know, he left multiple teams to chase that championship. It hadn't panned out, and he became second fiddle every time, and he's lost badly every time. And we don't know if that's even going to pan out at all. I don't even think they're not going to win the championship this year. The Clippers, far from it. I don't even think they're in playoff contention right now. If they are, they're barely in there. So it's like, why would Damian Lillard give up a market that is 100% supporting him, giving him all the money, all the respect, and the legacy? Again, he's a Portland Trailblazer. He's now the all-time leading Portland Trailblazer scorer of all time. He's going to collect and demolish all those records that Clyde Drexler has, and he's going to make a stamp on that franchise rather than chasing and running around and being soulless because you have no identity or no place to be. Those two things just don't match up. Lillard has integrity. So it's not that, I have to be in Portland. I've been dreaming of Portland all my life. It's the fact of him staying loyal to the place that has treated him good. Now, if Portland wasn't good, didn't treat him well, he would have left. But the situation is great. His family love it there. He's getting paid the most money that any team can pay him. So it would be a step down to chase a championship that's not guaranteed. Ask KD that. You know, it doesn't always work out. So yeah, he'd rather have that integrity and be a man and try to work this out. But you know, if he doesn't win it, oh well, he's still one of the greatest players to ever play the game. He's still got his family generational wealth that will last, hopefully, for generations to come. So yeah, that's a success.
So it's a wonder you don't watch football because you're talking, you don't like super teams and you seem to me like you're more for parity.
Yes.
NFL is full of parity. I mean, the worst team could always be the best team the following year. So it's just weird that you don't watch football. But let me address this disgusting comment that I saw in the chat saying that Dan Marino doesn't have any rings. Let me tell you something. You're right. And that bothers me because as much as I love Dan Marino, met Dan Marino personally, I wanted them to trade him to the Minnesota Vikings when the Vikings were interested in him, and they didn't because the Vikings had a championship team and he could have got a ring. So I'm okay with my superstars being like, you know what, it's just not cutting it here. I'm ready to go. Like Ryan Tannehill, quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, was the quarterback for the Dolphins for 8 years. Ryan Tannehill visited my daughter when she was in the hospital in the NICU. I always have a soft spot in my heart for Ryan Tannehill, but when they traded him to the Titans, I was like, you know what? The Titans have a tremendous team. They ended up being in the AFC title game that following year. I wanted him to win the Super Bowl that year. So I'm okay with my players leaving my team. Venkat, you know, growing up, Charles Barkley is my favorite player. You know that. Mm-hmm. So when Charles Barkley went to the Houston Rockets, I'm like, oh shit, Barkley's finally going to get that ring that he deserved. But they
were older though. That's the whole thing. That wasn't Charles Barkley of 91 or 92. That was Charles Barkley of 97, 98. And that's the problem. Clyde Drexler retired in 98. Akeem Olajuwon himself wasn't that great either. It just started to fall apart at that time. I wish it would have happened earlier. But then again, I listened to Scottie Pippen's take on Charles Barkley, and I heard what Michael Jordan had to say about Charles Barkley. They're saying that he's a fat loser, that he was never willing to do what was needed to do to win the championship. He didn't want to do things as far as his diet, as far as working out, as far as just practicing. He wasn't that kind of guy. Michael Jordan, not my favorite again, but one thing I can say about Michael Jordan, he diligently practices practice his weaknesses on a daily, in practice and outside of practice. He was always trying to improve everything that was Michael Jordan's weakness. He couldn't shoot threes. Michael Jordan's weakness at one point wasn't playing defense. Michael Jordan's weakness wasn't doing a lot of things, being a winner. And he worked at all those things and got all those things done. So year by year, if you look at his career, he improved on different categories of his game. And that's something Charles Barkley doesn't do. He eats a pizza and then he runs on the court.
Right.
And that's his words. That's his words. That's what he does.
He did let himself go that towards the end of his career. But Keela, by that logic, Trent Dilfer is a Hall of Famer. But we'll do that football show Monday. You're welcome to come on. Before
I just want to say, as far as it goes with football, there's multiple reasons why I don't like football. But one of the more major reasons would be I don't like the one and done game situation, because that's why anybody can win, because any fluke can happen. Any kid can just punch a bully in the mouth one day and get lucky. But if you have a series, 9 times out of 10, the best team won. In the NFL, we're not seeing that. We're just seeing random. And then the other thing too, you have a whole season and not every team plays every team. So you really don't know who was really the best team all year long. And those are issues football have. And it's just not entertaining for me. I like to see the best play the best. And the only way you can really do that is a series, like in baseball, like in hockey, and like in basketball. NFL just doesn't have that.
All right. Well, and two, I don't want to stick on this though because of the physicality of it. I mean, you can't play a 7-game playoff series in football. Those
well,
people
it doesn't have to be a seven game.
Be walking around with like scrambled legs for brains though.
Yeah, that's the 3.
All right. So before we get to your rant, I mean, because we're approaching that hour mark, I'm gonna get a rant out of you. I want to throw some. I just want to throw some things out for you, just to give me a real quick thing. Who's the best player in the game right now?
Oh, it's what's the name? Nurkic.
Nikola Jokic. How the hell you say
Yeah.
Isn't that weird though? We come to a point now where the white guys are like are being like MVPs and stuff like that. That never happened back then. Never, right. Outside of Larry Bird.
Right, that's true. But it's also not that it's a white guy; it's that he's an international guy. Someone not from America. So, and that all opened up with the Dream Team, and it just opened more and more space for players to come up. People being inspired, seeing the Dream Team out internationally, and now they wanted to be basketball players and stuff. So that's all great. I feel like everything should be included. Because you can't say you're really the best if you're not playing against the best. This is an issue that Babe Ruth has, because in his day, they didn't allow black players in the league in baseball. There was a whole separate Negro league, so he didn't play against the best because he segregated himself to just these guys. And as a result, now these years looking back, his legacy is kind of tarnished, because is he really that great? Because he didn't play against a whole section of guys that were there because of ignorance and racism. So you see, when you do this, when you isolate yourself or when you make yourself exclusive, you just hurt yourself in the long run. Like Michael Jordan, he dogged out his opponents in the day, belittled them, made them seem like they were not on his level. And now today, LeBron James is a great player, but
hold on, don't bring him up. We're gonna get to him. Don't bring him up. What's your thoughts on Giannis? And can Giannis be the new face of the NBA?
Oh, of course. Giannis is awesome. They might win the championship this year. I mean, their team is really good, man. I think they had like I want to say almost a 15-game winning streak this season so far, and they've pretty much maintained the best record or in the top 3 all year long. They've been consistent, he's a great leader. You know, Giannis, again, another one of those guys, right? The knock on Giannis was he can't hit free throws. He can't hit jumpers. Giannis was in the building before the game starts and then after the game, shooting free throws, shooting jump shots. And in playoff situations, when they won the championship, he hit some shots that really helped them win the championship. That's the kind of stuff you want to see from your leader. And that's a guy in a small market doing the things, making the sacrifice personally to lead his team to championship goal. You can't do nothing but respect that. I hope he wins it again. I hope that's what happens.
What's your thoughts on Steph Curry?
Steph Curry's great, but Steph Curry is fortunate that he was playing with like 4 or 5 Hall of Famers in his career. Damian Lillard don't even have an all-star player, not even a Hall of Famer, all-star player to play with. But yeah, he's great. He hits these great shots or whatnot. But he is, before this past finals, he wasn't the MVP, and he wasn't a part of the big moments that they needed to win championships. I mean, you saw Kevin Durant go over into Golden State, and you could look back at those series and you could tell if Kevin Durant wasn't on the team, as great as the Warriors were and are, they wouldn't have won the championship. So that's kind of crazy. Steph Curry should make something happen. But, I mean, again, he's a great player, but it just seems like he leans heavy on, you got Draymond, you got Clay, and you got Iguodala. You got these pieces, and it's great that you have that. But Damian Lillard, I got to go back to Damian Lillard. There was a year, I believe it was 2015, where they were, I think that year they ranked 3rd in the NBA. I'm sorry, 3rd in the Western Conference. They lost in the playoffs, I think in the second round. Then the whole team got blown up. He was the only returning starter. And that was a year where everybody was saying, oh, God, Portland ain't going to make the playoffs. They're going to be lottery bound. Nope. Damian Lillard said nope. And he led that team to the playoffs. And they got back to the playoffs. They had a winning record. And I'm saying, again, without an all-star player next to him, without a Hall of Famer next to him, he willed them to success. Now, they're not going to win the championship because he needs more firepower behind him. But that says something about a person's character, to be able to take a little bit of something and make something more out of it. Steph Curry has a privilege when you're playing with Clay and all these other guys that Damian Lillard never had. So, and then that's another issue too. Kyrie Irving. I have gone on record saying he's a loser.
You jumping the gun. You jumping the gun.
No, I'm just saying. I just want to say this. I mean, Kyrie Irving to me is a loser because now he's a great guy and everything because he does do charities and stuff like that, which I do commend him for. He does some really good stand-up things. I think he paid money to the George Floyd family and stuff like that. He just does things he's not looking for publicity. He's generally doing it because he's a good dude. But as far as basketball, okay, so in Cleveland, they drafted him. And for 3 seasons, they had the worst or close to the worst record in the league every year, every single freaking year. Then LeBron James comes to Cleveland. Miraculously, they started winning. And then he leaves Cleveland because he doesn't want to be in the shadow of LeBron James. He goes to Boston. They lose. He leaves Boston. They win. He goes to another team, Brooklyn. They lose. Now he's in Dallas, and for the first 7 games, I think they're like 2-5 or something. So again, he's a great player. He has some great handles. I love what he does, but I think there's a selfishness there that's creating his losing situation. And he's not like Damian Lillard is solid. He's a leader. He takes sacrifices to do what's needed for the team. I don't think I see that in Kyrie, and he's just a loser to me. I hope he turns it around, but I'm looking at your pattern. See, I judge people by their actions and the patterns and what they do and what they've done.
All right, the late great Kobe Bryant.
Oh, he's amazing. Awesome. I wasn't a fan of him either. I wasn't a fan of him early, but then I had to respect him for what he did. That final game he had, 60 points. I mean, you have to be in that moment and remember that time because he was injured back then. He wasn't at his best back then. The Lakers were struggling and losing. And for him to pull a 60-point game, boom, out of the air like that was amazing. Kobe Bryant went head to head with Michael Jordan throughout the season and in All-Star games. I've seen Kobe Bryant block Michael Jordan's shot. I've seen Kobe Bryant challenge and not back down on Michael Jordan, whereas a lot of players would do that. Now, Kobe Bryant is known to steal Michael Jordan's moves, which can be, you see that on social media all the time, him having the same expressions, reactions, and moves as Michael Jordan, which is true. He idolized Jordan, and that's why if you notice, Kobe Bryant wears the number 24. He's wearing 24, not because it's a random number. 24 is one more than 23. So he's letting you know that I'm a step above Michael Jordan. That's what that number represents and means. That's what it's always been. But yeah, an amazing guy, amazing player, and I don't like the hate that for some reason is there, where they're disrespecting his legacy. When guys do these top player lists, he's always like way below or not on the top 10. And I'm like, what the hell is that? This guy played 20 seasons for the same team, led the league in scoring, won 5 championships, defensive player of the year, all these different accolades, all the things that they tell you that are important, that defines greatness. And he's done that, and still they bring him down. And I don't understand it. I'll never understand that.
Well, I hope you guys are seeing a pattern here. Today we did a random pop-up basketball show, and the wealth of knowledge that you're getting is unmatched. 2 days ago, we did a UFC pre-show, and the way those two guys broke down these fights that the card is actually going on today was unparalleled. When me and Venkat start wrestling with reality, the way we're going to break that down is going to be unparalleled. I hope you see that over here at the Straight Talk Society, you're getting top-notch entertainment. I just want you guys to know that, and wait till I start talking about my Miami Dolphins. That's just gonna be fanboy central. So that's just gonna be me throwing out a bunch of shit. So all right, excuse me. So with the time we got left, we right over the hour mark. I want to keep it around like 1 hour 15 minutes. So me and you, we're Facebook friends. We've been friends for over damn 30 years. So you have a problem, and you're going to have to explain to me now. We're not talking about the whole who's the greatest thing. Right, because anybody with sense knows that Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. I hate to say it. I've never owned a pair of Jordans in my life, but Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. Everybody knows that. I think LeBron may be 1B, right under him. What is your beef with LeBron James?
I just want better. I think if you're claiming you're the best, you need to act like it. So LeBron James has been seen in games giving up on defense in crucial part of games, whether it be regular season, playoffs, or finals. LeBron James fell apart in 2011 for the Miami Heat against the Mavericks. But what makes that significant to me is the reason they got together is because LeBron James said, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. So he's listing all the championships that he expects to get. And so in that first series that they had in 2011, they lost. But Dwayne Wade and LeBron James was making fun of Dirk Nowitzki in a practice around that finals. That was like an eye-opening moment. I'm like, you're upper echelon talent. First of all, you never underestimate the opponent. And second of all, why are you making fun of this guy? And again, Dirk is again like a Lillard. He was drafted by Dallas. That's the team that drafted him. He only stayed at Dallas Maverick his whole career. And he doesn't have a bunch of all-stars or superstar guys next to him. So to see those Mavericks beat him, that was awesome. But LeBron James, for me, ultimately is like, he's a great player and everything, but he's had moments of questionability, moments that are unbecoming of the best player, moments where you would think he would know better to carry himself. That's one illustration of it, where it's that entitlement. That entitlement that I'm a foregone conclusion, I'm going to win. When he won his first championship, what did he say? It's about damn time. You just won your first championship, and that's the response out of your mouth. Michael Jordan won his first championship. You know what he did? He cried. He cried because all those years of people saying all Jordan can do is score 60 points, the team will lose, and that's the end of it. And he overcame all these deniers. LeBron James win it, it's about damn time. Come on, man. So, I mean, he's a great player and everything, but there's just certain things that just knock him down for me. And I don't like the extra elevation that people of today are trying to give him, putting him up there like that. I just don't think that's correct. I just don't think that's right. I think we lose gravity on like the past. And we just step over things because we didn't witness it. Wilt Chamberlain is the guy that averaged 50 points and 30 rebounds. 50 points and 30 rebounds a game. This is a guy that's done ridiculous things that will never be broken in NBA record history. And not to mention other players that have also been phenomenal that we're just like stepping over because we didn't happen to see them in their day. Well, that's not their fault. You know, and again, they did these great things under trying circumstances. LeBron is getting a foot rub probably right now. He's probably getting his feet rubbed right now. These guys didn't have to do that. They didn't have that option. They had to go through a harder road. And again, he's reaping the benefits of their hard work, but still, I just think that it gets a little bit contrived and overblown with LeBron James. I like when he does things like in the Game 7 against the Golden State Warriors in 2016. That was a championship of Houston Rockets proportion, where he earned that win. He earned that win, and I applaud him for that. He got the key block. Of course, Kyrie had to make the shot because he would never do it, but still, they battled back down 3-1, and they beat a super team like the Golden State Warriors, and I had nothing but praise for that. But those other situations, like, I mean, again, 2012 against OKC, Game 2, the OKC Thunder is up 1-0, and it's down to the last possession, and you have Kevin Durant with the ball. Kevin Durant is going up for the shot. LeBron James fouls Kevin Durant. The referee didn't call it, and that was the end of the game. And I bought the NBA official DVD just to watch how are they going to handle that. And just like I thought, in the DVD, they showed it from a different angle where you couldn't see the foul. Those conspiracies and whatnot sometimes are not very much a conspiracy. It's actually what's happening, you know. It's just, I don't know.
So the young kid that has been told his entire life that you're going to be the greatest basketball player ever. He has the weight of a city put on his back.
Right.
He gets drafted to the Cavaliers. He takes probably the worst Eastern Conference Finals team ever into the NBA championship. Remember, on that same team, he had a dude named Eric Snow and Drew Gooden, the guy with the big long ponytail on that team. He takes a garbage team like that. He carries Cleveland as far as he can. Then he says, you know what? Let me go to Miami. He comes to Miami. They win 2 titles. He doesn't re-sign with Miami. He goes back home to Cleveland and wins them a title. Oh, let's not forget, after the idiot owner completely eviscerates him on the front page of their paper, he still comes back, wins them a title. All is forgiven. Your favorite son is back. Goes to LA and wins the title. Everybody said, oh, it's the bubble championship, whatever. So what? He did it against Miami. He still won another title. And this guy has no public no public scandals, nothing like that. And the best you could say is because when he won a title, he was like, about damn time. That's the best you could give me as to why this guy is so evil in your eyes.
No. I say it's the entitlement. It's the entitlement complex that things are needed to be centered around him. I just don't. I don't like certain things he does. It's questionable for me, like what he does. Like for instance, just it's not even a basketball court. When he was in Miami, he had half of '95 shut down so that he could go to a Justin Timberlake concert. Then he went on Twitter and live streamed bragging about, I got police escorting me to see my homeboy Justin Timberlake. Now people are coming home from work like me.
You reaching, man. I'm
not reaching at all. This actually happened. This actually happened.
No, I don't disagree, but you reaching hard right now.
I'm saying it's that entitlement thing that the things need to be good for me. Like you build these super teams, and he overdoes it with like the team building. Because I mean, it's him that's pushing those buttons. The team owners and the coaches, they're just listening to what this guy says because he's LeBron James. And they put together these teams, and he still fails. And what I'm saying is, when is it going to be a point where we're like, okay, you orchestrated these things to overwhelmingly put you in a position to win? How is that great, though? How is that great? And then you fail in the NBA Finals. At one point he was 3-9 in the NBA Finals. You're 3-9 in final series. That's losing, bruh. It's like, come on. But, I think that in today's climate, if you're not equivocally pushing or backing or agreeing with something, you're looked at as a hater.
No.
There's things that LeBron James does. I love that. But then when he does something, I'm going to call it out. And I just happen to see it as a reoccurring issue over and over. Kind of like what I said with Kyrie. I call him a loser, but I like Kyrie. I like his game. I like how he plays. But there's some questionable aspects about him when he's on a team that I wish wasn't there. So I'm calling it out because I'm saying, hey, I want you to be better. My criticisms are never to bash or belittle. My criticisms are, maybe we need to have a moment of like, is this the best way we're going forward with? Maybe we might want to tweak it a little. That's what I'm, even in wrestling or anything in life. When you hear me bash something, it's because I'm identifying a real problem. And I'm not like a yes man that's just going to be like, yeah, this is good. Yeah, this is good. No, I'm not that guy, man. Right, maybe you are. Maybe you are, Trevor.
So in closing, because you said something earlier. And I said, remember that, because I knew where you were going to go. So you talked about Michael Jordan, and you was like, oh yeah, Michael Jordan, because shit, hold on. So turn on your camera. Let me make sure that's you, because we're about to close the show. So, but turn on your camera real quick. Let me make sure that's you.
Bring him on. Bring him on.
Solar, turn on your camera. But okay. But you said in the back. So you said in the back, you were like, in the beginning, you said Michael Jordan, you don't like him because he doesn't stand up for social issues. But the one thing you didn't say about LeBron is all the times he does stand up for social issues.
That's something but that's a foregone conclusion though.
But you never brought that up though. That's what I said.
I really have to bring everything up? I mean, I can't bring everything up.
Because you bring up everything bad that you don't like about him.
No, because you're asking me and I'm telling you what it is. But no, LeBron James is great on social, and it's messed up. Like he goes to LA, and then one of the first things he gets greeted with, a nigger being sprayed all over his house. That's freaked up, man. But no, Michael Jordan has never been there socially, man. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he was there socially. He's still there right now in his old age. Jim Brown, even though he's questionable these days, I don't know what the hell happened to that nigga, but back in the day, he stood for something. Bill Russell, he stood for something. He meant something. Michael Jordan, he's just looking for cash flow.
Yeah, buy my shoes.
Right. Republicans buy shoes too. That's what he said. You know.
And I see you just tagged me in the story about Michael Jordan. What's up, Solar?
What's good?
What's going on, Solar?
Yeah, you late, man. We getting ready to close down. Why you get here so late?
Well, yeah, I'm getting ready for this debate tonight with Scheme and Holly, so I was getting everything set with that. So they
what time?
9 o'clock, 9 p.m.
Oh, it's 9.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to, I'm very critical of LeBron, right?
Okay.
But that man went to 11 finals. Like, think about what we experienced.
Come on, Solar.
James.
Come on, Solar. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Nah, I'm dead. Dead up, bro. He went to 11 finals.
So let's dissect those 11 times.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm gonna.
Okay.
So, yes, he won 4 of those finals, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So his finals ratio is below 500, right?
Yes.
But he won 4 titles.
Yeah.
The thing about this, because you're thinking in terms of LeBron James. Put that on Charles Barkley, right? Put that on Charles Barkley. Like, he went to 11 finals and won 4 times, right? Because he's already considered like an NBA legend. And he went 1 time and lost.
Right.
Think about that. Charles Barkley is an NBA legend. He went 1 time and lost. This man went to 11 and won 4.
You got a point.
So okay, so
he's like the greatest of all time, yo.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Solar, you're drinking that Jesus juice.
I'm trying to tell you, man. Look. I went.
So it's easily refutable. First of all,
Jordan, but anything outside of that,
why?
I can see how it was an argument with Jordan.
No, okay. So let me just say this real quick. So he went to 11.
What you talking about?
No, he went to 10 straight finals, right?
It was 10 straight?
It was 10 straight. 10 straight. Right, 10 straight finals, right? That was in what conference was he in?
The East. So what?
Okay. So what was in the Eastern Conference those 10 years?
Oh, get out of here.
No. The Atlanta Hawks.
You had the
Atlanta Hawks.
No, not the Atlanta Hawks. Who was
the Atlanta Hawks. Remember that year that the Atlanta Hawks had 4 All-Stars?
The Pistons.
No, the Atlanta Hawks. You had the Toronto Raptors, which always lost every year in either the second round of the conference to LeBron and them.
Oh,
they never had.
That was later on.
I mean,
that's like from 2016. You're talking about,
right?
So way back, it was the Detroit Pistons that won a title that beat the Lakers. Remember they had Chauncey Billups and all them. He beat them single-handedly. You remember that game that went into
35? Was it 35 points in the fourth quarter or some crazy ridiculous number?
All the points.
Yeah.
Nobody else scored.
Venkat don't get his guy no credit, man.
No. I'm saying, but at that point, wasn't that Piston team?
You remember the battles with him and the Boston Celtics?
Yes. Again, that
was a bullshit team.
Yes, because that was at the end of their run.
Oh, come on, man.
Come on, man. Come on.
Okay, so let's rewind.
Kobe in the finals. That was a bullshit team.
I understand what you're trying to say, but the reality of what it is that wasn't the end of the run. That's no different than with the Houston Rockets having Hakeem Olajuwon, Charles Barkley, and Clyde Drexler on it. And then the next year they had Scottie Pippen, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Charles Barkley on that team. They were at the end of their run.
it would be an equivalent if that Houston team won a title with all of them. They didn't win a title with Charles Barkley and all them. They won Boston won a title.
And so did the Houston Rockets. They won it 2 years in a row with Clyde Drexler and Akeem Olajuwon. And then they added Barkley a year or two later. What I'm saying is you feel like because they have these names and it looks a certain way that it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to be competitive. But when you're at the end of your run in your career, it's not the same as when in your heyday. So you just pointed out a Detroit Pistons team, which was way past their prime.
That's not what I'm saying. Look, this is not what I'm saying is that if you're making an argument.
Yes.
That these people were did you see the series?
I understand. Hey, just because you're struggling in going up against a team doesn't mean that they're great. He just happened to have a hard time with them. But what I'm saying is what was going on in the West?
Okay, so this is what I'm saying, right? This team was proven to win championships. They won a championship.
Yes.
They were fighting to the end, bro. Like, you don't want to give credit to LeBron James?
No, I'm saying that the circumstance was he was up against a lesser teams in a lesser conference.
Like really? That's just like, come on, bro.
Everybody knows this. This is not a new thing.
Like
I guess it's news to you guys.
James knows that.
It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the. Okay. In that sense, okay, he went.
Well, you can make the same case with Jordan and the Lakers.
No, you can't. But what I'm saying is, he did a 10-year. Listen. He did a 10-year run in the NBA Finals, coming out of the Eastern Conference. Right. He went west in LA. What happened to the last 4 or 5 seasons with LA? What has happened with LeBron James? He either did not make the playoffs or he was a first-round exit.
You can't put that all on him, though.
No. I'm just saying when he came out west,
he got injured.
First-round elimination, and he didn't even qualify.
He won a title out here.
I'm sorry.
He won a title in LA.
Oh, you mean in the bubble where a lot of players
get out of here.
You mean in the bubble? I mean, again, what did Shaquille O'Neal?
Think about this, right? Nobody says that about Tim Duncan in the strike season.
You know why? You know why they didn't say that? Wow. Because he won it in 2003 afterwards. So it validated that run. Has LeBron James won the championship since 2020? I want to know, did LeBron James win the championship since 2020?
You heard what he just said, right?
Man.
You heard what he just said.
So in 1999, there was a lockout.
Trying to talk right now because he knows he fucked up.
No, how did I mess up? I just gave you the real.
You cut, man. You cut.
I don't know what you're talking about.
To Tim Duncan because he won titles after that, right? And he was
yes.
Wait. So LeBron James won in Miami. He won.
Okay, again, past tense.
Right.
Past tense. Wow. I'm saying. I'm saying. I'm saying you.
I'm done, bro.
Okay, come on. You just told me. Come on, Sola. Did you not just tell me that the 2020 title is supposed to have legitimacy behind it, right? You're saying that it's a legit title. I'm saying it's not because it was in the bubble. So then you said, why is it that Tim Duncan's title in 99 not the same? I'm saying because after the fact, he won again in a full 82 season. LeBron James hasn't translated that success. So that looks like the bubble was a moment in time when teams were weaker.
He did it in previous seasons, though.
That makes no sense. We're talking about the 2020 season.
No. You know why it makes sense? And it just dispels your whole West Coast. To win a championship, you got to beat the best person in the West Coast, bro.
Okay. That's something that easily dispensed as well. When you're in the Western Conference, you're playing really great teams, all for 3 rounds. After that, going through that hell, Now you're meeting up a team that usually the West team goes longer than the East team. They're rested. They're waiting for the West teams to finish up on the Western Conference. That's usually what happens. I know what happened with my Portland Trailblazers. They were battling out with Utah when Chicago was sitting at home because they had eliminated easily again the Cleveland Cavaliers in 92. So, I mean, this has always been a repeating thing where the Western Conference, there's big battles going on out there, and then there's an easier run in the East. What?
Can't you say the same thing for Michael Jordan?
I've been saying that for years. That's one of the formulas that you can have these West Coast teams.
Okay, so what's
that's why I want the NBA to go to a 1 through 16. The best teams face the best teams.
So why ain't this talk about Michael Jordan then? If it's the same thing for Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan's still great. I mean, again, you have to deal with what's put in front of you. It's not Michael Jordan's issue. Okay, why are we laughing about now? What's the outrage?
Michael Jordan is like, oh yeah, you gotta play what's in front of you. But for LeBron James in the same scenario, he had these like teams. And don't you know?
But again, so again, this can easily be
like you're showing the clear bias, bro.
No, I'm not. I'm showing the reality of it.
For Michael Jordan, you was like, well, you gotta play what's in front of you. You didn't say, well,
because Michael Jordan, when you talk about Michael Jordan. When you talk about Michael Jordan, he's won those finals. When you talk about LeBron James, more times often than not, he's lost those finals.
Bro. Michael Jordan only won 2.
It doesn't matter. Look, it doesn't matter that you've gone to the NBA Finals 1 time or 30 times. You lost those finals. What?
It does matter.
It does not matter. How many times the Buffalo Bills were discounted as garbage?
They were a great
It doesn't matter. They didn't win the championship. Who the hell is walking around saying, "Oh man, we were runner-ups"? Nobody is giving out trophies for runner-ups.
There's no way that you're making it to the Super Bowl every year and not be a great team 4 times in a row, bro.
Yeah, you can be, but you're putting it not as a great team. You're putting it as LeBron James being the greatest. So when you do that, you open yourself up for criticism.
Bro. The man won 4
Questionable. Out of those championships, one of them is recognizable, and that's that 2016 championship.
Come on. What is wrong? At this point, you literally just trying to be the contrarian right now.
No,
really.
I'm not. This is what I've been saying. I mean, dissect what we've seen. Dissect what we've seen from LeBron James. Look back at those runs, especially the Spurs one. That one was like, come on, man, really?
Okay, you.
So what you saying about the Spurs when that was when they cheated?
What's the Spurs cheated? When the Spurs cheated?
No, you're saying Miami. You're saying he's saying Miami cheated.
Give him credit for the Spurs championship.
No, I'm saying because that series shouldn't have gone. The Spurs made and that's the thing. The coach, Greg Popovich,
don't put it on Pop.
He gets a lot. Oh, yes, I will. His dumbass. You're gonna This is the scenario. You're up by 5 points with 25 seconds to go.
With LeBron, though?
I'm segueing into something because he was talking about don't go on Pop. But what I'm saying is that he made a big mistake by taking out one of the greatest rebounders of all time.
Scott
when you need a rebound.
Scott Norwood is the reason why the Bills lost it.
Huh? Well, no, I'm not. I'm just saying the Bills universally have been bashed for going to the Super Bowl multiple times and losing. What's that?
Yeah, Scott. Their first Super Bowl, they lost because Scott Norwood missed a easy field goal.
Yeah, chip shot. It was chip shot field goal.
But at the end of the day, are they not known for going to multiple Super Bowls and losing? What they say?
So how you trying to take? That's why I say your logic is not matching up, because how are you going to use that argument? But then on the flip side, with LeBron James, you don't want to give him credit for games that he actually won. No.
I mean, again, I don't feel like okay. When I look at Michael Jordan's run, right? You see that 72 win or 71 win Chicago Bulls. They go through when they went through the playoffs. They smashed the opening round. They didn't give those teams opportunities. They were right on it. Then they go through the Eastern Conference. Then they win in the final championship. When you look at LeBron James, it's not as dominant as what we've seen with Michael Jordan, but you're trying to say that yet he's better than Michael Jordan. And I'm just saying this is what you're saying is great. And I'm putting a mirror up saying
it is an argument though.
I'm sorry?
It is an argument. I wouldn't say
there's no argument there. It's not even close. It's not even close.
Venkat, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
By your logic, then Michael Jordan isn't number one either. Then it should be Oscar Robertson, right?
It shouldn't be Oscar Robertson. Why would it be Oscar Robertson?
Oscar Robertson or Bill Russell? I might be thinking about Bill Russell.
Bill Russell.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. So a lot of people look at Michael Jordan as the best because they just look at an overall range of categories. But if you just look at championships, Bill Russell has 11. Nobody else in sports has that.
Well, I really think
I don't look at championships though.
I don't either. I think it's a misleading way to judge.
I really think Kareem is the best player.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
I can see really why you said it. I can see that.
Like, you know what I mean?
Of course.
But I think with the everything came into fruition from for Jordan, like the rise of the media, the rise of sports and NBA in general.
Right.
The sneaker phenomenon, everything was just at the perfect moment for Michael Jordan. And this is why, and then along obviously with his tenacity and his, love for the game,
ethics, work ethics,
win, and his work ethic, he was like a poster boy for not only inspiration, but also for these mega corporations with the sneakers and all that. And he was, besides the gambling, just the perfect person for, he really didn't get into nothing, didn't have no controversial things. So he was just everything came into fruition with Michael Jordan, even Spike Lee, and Gotta Be the Shoes. And it's just everything was came together for him at the right time. And he definitely, how he won too, those shots, man, he was definitely something special. I'm
not a Michael Jordan advocate. I'm just talking about what happened. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So that would be why LeBron James is not as respected. I think that's where we kind of mix the two. LeBron James ain't as respected by his peers as Michael Jordan was. You know what I'm saying?
He is
because of more so the way he plays and his personality.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He don't really feel as though that he has to take the team necessarily on his shoulders the way a Michael Jordan and a Kobe did.
Right.
But the thing was, right, Scottie Pippen was the perfect personality for Michael Jordan. It wouldn't have worked with nobody else.
Right. If you take away Scottie Pippen, there's no championship.
You can see that now with the stories that popped up with Michael Jordan and even Horace Grant. A lot of his own teammates didn't like him.
Right.
So a person of that caliber of talent, like a Scottie Pippen, and a humble personality was a perfect situation for Michael Jordan. It wouldn't have worked with any other person. You know what I'm saying? It would have been kind of like Kobe before Paul Gasol. You know what I'm saying? It's he kind of make the playoffs and it's 500. You know what I mean? But with the addition
good point. That's a good point.
And the versatility of Scottie Pippen, that took it to a whole nother plateau. And only thing you got to do now is put some good defensive players and some shooters around him, and you got something that you can work with. So all that came into play. With LeBron James is different because LeBron James, the real LeBron James is that Cleveland, Cleveland run that they had before he went to Miami.
Right, the first run.
You see how he was balling and he passing everybody the ball, and everybody got their own special handshakes, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's almost like goes back to the saying, I'd rather be feared than loved. You see what it did to LeBron, man? One of the players was messing around with his mom.
Delonte West?
Yeah.
Like, well, allegedly.
Like, allegedly.
Allegedly.
No, like, come on, bro.
That's what allegedly.
We know, like, I mean, because they even hint upon it. Like, I was listening to Stephen A. Like, yeah, because it was players that did some treacherous, unforgivable things too. I'm not gonna mention what that is, but like, so we know that it's true, right? But this is the thing, right? He was like the personality. He didn't really have a killer alpha dog type of instinct where he making people bow down to him. He was just like more of a team type of oriented player and wanted to see everybody kind of enjoy the experience. Michael Jordan, like, yo, he's fighting with Steve Kerr. They all got these crazy stories of Michael Jordan punching people, and that's not LeBron James. That's not LeBron James. You know what I mean? So he's not respected like Michael Jordan. But rest assured you, that man went to 11 championships, bro.
Doesn't mean nothing.
That's not even like, don't even play the man like that. Don't do him like that.
That's crazy.
Nope, don't mean nothing.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it don't mean nothing because it was the Eastern Conference. I mean,
but you see what I mean?
Those were easy. Those were easy paths to the championship.
As a person, like, you just think he kind of softer than Michael Jordan. That's what you're thinking. So it got to be because the Eastern Conference was soft at the time, because this guy's not.
It was.
Michael Jordan.
That's the most ridiculous thing ever.
Talk to anybody within basketball. They're gonna say, "Of course, it was."
Damn thing.
Hey, you can love it or hate it. It's what it is. It's real.
Hey, listen, fellas, I'm gonna have to shut the show down soon because my throat's starting to burn me again. But I want to read something to you real quick.
Let it burn. Let it burn.
Yeah, I want to read something to you real quick. So you got Shannon Brown, Daniel Gibson, Drew Gooden, Larry Hughes, Adrunas Sagauskas, LeBron, Damon Jones, Dwayne Jones, Danielle Marshall, Ira Newble, Sasha Palovic, Scott Pollard, Eric Snow, Anderson Varejao, and David Wesley. That was the 2007 Eastern Conference Cavaliers finals team. How the hell was he supposed to win?
The Pistons.
How was he supposed to win with that team?
In 2006, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the Pistons along on their way to that title.
He brought those losers. He brought that cast of losers to the NBA Finals.
Well, I wouldn't call them loot. I wouldn't call
that was almost as good. That was not almost. That was better than the year Allen Iverson brought the 76ers with that cast of misfits that he carried in there.
They had Mutombo.
Yeah, well, at least he had one recognizable guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Venkat, that's crazy.
David West is
your logic that
here we go.
He went because he was in the East. Kibito, the most ridiculous take I ever heard. I really wish you would have just said something else.
So clearly you haven't been paying attention to basketball. This is not a controversial thing to say.
I
don't know where you guys been. I don't know what you guys been paying attention to.
The year he went with the Heat, the 2 years, the 2 years that he went with the Heat, that they went. Well, they went 3 times, but that whole time, you remember, he had the Pacers that they always had to go through, and the Pacers, everybody was saying the Pacers were a better basketball team.
Okay, first of all, again, you guys seem to be prisoners.
West. That's what
I'm
understanding what you're saying here.
Because you don't want to understand it, because you're not going back to the time when they were playing the Pacers. That was a new team. They hadn't done anything yet. They were just creating a legacy. There was a point in that series where Paul George did a great move against them, and then it was so good that LeBron had to dap him. Paul George was just coming up. They were not a force yet. And like, you guys see that, and you're using hindsight vision and placing it back in the time when you're not getting the gravity of the moment. I'm looking back in the day of when it happened. I guess that's where the disconnect is at, because to say that coming out of the Eastern Conference is a bad take. It's like ridiculous. The Western Conference has been a powerhouse for the last 25 plus years. How do you not get that? That's seriously lacking in context.
All right,
like that's not a controversial thing at all. Like if you're struggling on that, you can't have a conversation.
Let's do this because I know Solar got to get ready for a debate. My throat is burning. I got another show coming tomorrow.
You're burning from those lies that you're talking. That's why it's burning.
I'm gonna give you some homework. This what we're gonna do. And Solar, you more than welcome to come on. We figure out when we're gonna do this show. Let's look back at all of LeBron James's finals runs, and let's look at the playoff teams that he had to go through and his opponent had to go through to get to the finals, and we'll see just how easy his road was. Okay. You want to do that? Yeah. Let's break that down, because I'm sitting here listening and you saying just because he was in the East, the East is a easier as far as record wise, and I agree with you. I think they should just take the top 16 teams no matter what. And then I also think they should be reseeded after every round. But that'll never happen. But it's crazy that you would sit here and discredit this man because he was in the Eastern Conference.
Not discrediting. You guys are giving this overwhelming praise, and I'm bringing. Hold on a minute. That's fine and dandy, but it's not all that. That's what I'm doing, and I don't think that disconnect is just outrageous to me.
Nice conversation, though.
Boy, I'm telling you, man.
Venkat, you, man. But I love it though, because you keep me arguing, man, because you be jumping like way out in the ocean. But yeah, let's do that. I want to look at all their finals, and let's just look at those playoffs. Let's look at the teams. Let's look at the teams that they had to go through. And I'll even go so far and be like, well, let's look at the all-stars on the teams, because I can't remember off the top of my head who all they played, but that 2007 Cavalier team had no business in the world being in the
That's
finals.
What everybody says. That's what everybody says.
The fact that he brought that cast of bums to the Eastern Conference Finals, did they get swept? I think they got swept, or they won one.
They got swept by the Spurs.
They got swept. I mean, yeah, they shouldn't have been there in the first place. But the fact that they got there.
So that just reinforced my thought exactly.
That's on
they shouldn't have been there in the first place, because it was a mix of nonsense teams. If we seeded it 1 through 16 and put the best against the best, it wouldn't have ended up that way. But because of the conference standings, that's why we're seeing lesser teams in Eastern Conference making the playoffs when better teams are staying home in the Western Conference. This is fundamentally the reason why this is happening. So when you guys are over the head, when you guys don't get what I'm saying, like if that's controversial, you don't have any place having those kind of discussions, because that's a known thing in basketball. Like if I got to get you caught up on fire is hot, we can't have conversations on burning buildings. You can't grasp these simple things. We can't have those conversations. Woo! I feel a flare coming on. Right? Whoa!
Hey, listen, I'm completely spent now.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you are, sir. I'm just getting started.
Wifey heard me, so she had to bring me some tea or something, man. I'm telling you, I'm completely spent, man. Trying to get over this cold, and this is like my third show this weekend, so.
Give it up to Straight Talk, man. It's just on fire with all these shows back to back to back,
man. And we got another one tomorrow with the UFC 286 review, which that card probably should be in like the main event by now, getting close to it. So I'll let you guys. I'll put the thumbnail.
What time is that show?
That I don't know. I got to get with Zay and Bones right now and let them know. The show's going on now. I told him I wasn't going to be able to do it tonight because we're doing this one. But they say sometime tomorrow, so probably around 6. Who knows? But as soon as I get the time, and I'll put the thumbnail up. So everybody that's watching in the clouds is stuck with us for an hour and 50 minutes. I appreciate it. To those of you in the chat, I appreciate you guys sticking with us and comments. And please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Also go over on Facebook and like us at the Straight Talk Society. That fire ass music that y'all hear on all of my shows is from Venkat's brother, the Silent Assassin.
R.I.P.
Yeah, rest in peace. His music, man, is fire. I even see somebody commented earlier, like, damn, the music. Yeah, it's awesome, man. It's funny. The song that I play on the outro, in the little outro video, there's one reason why I love to play it so much, because there's a line in here where he says, "You don't know how I feel in my society." And it's so representative of what the Straight Talk Society is. Like, like my wife would tell me, I would always find a song that just encapsulated whatever we were going to talk about for that show. So, man, I appreciate the family allowing me to play his music. But it's been awesome, man. Rest in peace to Silent Assassin, man. He definitely missed, man. But I appreciate that, me and Venkat are back together. Venkat's been producing the show forever. Like I say, all these bomb ass graphics and stuff y'all see, that's all from him. I'm just a guy with a microphone. But yeah, man, we definitely got to do this again. Well, we got to come up with a time for two things. When we're going to do that Lesnar versus Cena, and when we're going to do this LeBron James playoff history thing, because you just making some crazy. I thought I'd make some crazy claims, man. I mean that's ridiculous that you would just say, oh, because he was in the East. Just damn the fact that he had to go through the Celtics. Damn the fact, that he had to go through the two-time champion Pistons. Hey, come on, man. Like that's crazy, man. But anyway, excuse me. Yeah, I hate when people cough in the microphone, but yeah, and y'all make sure and check out tonight, 9:00 on Solar Vision Debate League, Holly versus Scheme. They got a topic for your ass as should the public record? Should the public be able to record the police? Is something to that effect. That's going to be a crazy one. That's going to be a crazy one, because the person that's taking the negative on that, they got some explaining to do. But that's going to be a crazy one. But yeah, so I appreciate Venkat for stopping through. Peace out to the society.
I just want to say peace to Nini. Appreciate you. Looking forward to the show coming out soon.
Oh yeah, definitely. April 2nd. Pour your heart out. Y'all got a sneak peek. Y'all got a sneak preview of it for last night. Last night was ridiculously good. I mean, I listened to it back again today. Last night was awesome. Y'all go back and listen to that. If you want to hear some positive, healthy male-female banter, it's not the gender wars. The gender wars is something y'all made up on YouTube. It was men and women having conversations. Go back and listen to that show tonight, whenever you get a chance. That show was fire. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I'm about to get out of here. Peace to the chat. Peace to everyone in the clouds. Peace to Venkat. I leave you with these words. Always seek out the truth for yourself, because if not, you'll fall victim to other people's interpretations of them. Till tomorrow, peace.
But it's a must, you gon' respect this. Plus your nuts will touch the dust, you try to check this. You ain't insane, I write your name down on my checklist. You think I'm playing, I leave you laying, I leave you breathless. I'm not a heathen, please believe I'm breathing for a reason. Until I'm bleeding, really feeling this world is so misleading. sacrifice your life at night while facing certain sorrow. Your existence is at stake, you might not make tomorrow. Lost my heart when I was crossed, don't wanna make amends. Much too smart, my afterthought, don't wanna make no friends. If you're a fraud, then it's so hard to get a second chance. You could die in front of my eyes, won't get a second glance. As human beings, instead of being so many try to be. You ain't seen what I have seen in my society. So F the killers, F the dealers, F the police. Middle finger in the sky till I die, no peace. Middle finger to the world. Every man, every woman, every boy, every girl.
Always seek out the truth for yourself.